Good evening, Princeton. Welcome to Talk to Me. I'm Esther Mills. Tonight we are talking to Santa Claus. Welcome, Santa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
You play a couple different versions of Santa, correct? Santa Claus, St. Nicholas, and Father Christmas.
Right, right. I originally started off as a big elf, but then I worked my way up into the Santa Claus.
Seniority, you worked your way up?
Yes, seniority. You know, you work your way up into the ladder. And then as time came about, okay, from the Santa Claus to the long robes to Father Christmas, St. Nicholas, things sort of changed. And each year there's new and new things that have sort of come about with the outfit as to when, who knows when, you know, the costume will have a very elaborateness to it. So I sort of build up on it every year.
So there are the traditions that we have here in America. A lot of them come from Europe.
Correct.
So let's talk a little bit about some of the different figureheads that were considered or evolved into our Santa Claus today. The first one being St. Nicholas of Myra.
Correct. From
Tell
Greece.
us about him. From Greece.
From Greece. I mean, he was a bishop, and he was a very wealthy bishop, and he would give gifts to the poor and people of needy. In one particular occasion, there was this family who had 3 daughters, and the man was trying to wed his daughters, but because he didn't have any dowry, he was unable to do so. And so Nicholas had gone and through the chimney thrown some coins into the fireplace. And in the process of throwing the coins in the fireplace, because they had socks that were being dried at that point in time, they fell into the socks. And thus the stockings sort of kind of came about.
The stockings.
Exactly, you know. Or many of our today's kids, you know, always look for that little extra cash in the money.
Right. And that started with the bishop.
With the bishop.
And if these daughters had not received this dowry, they would have had to have been prostitutes.
That, or, you know, basically, you know, that they wouldn't have been allowed to get wed. And so he ensured it that particular, and he's done many of those particular things as well.
Do you know of any other of his charitable?
He basically tried to keep, in terms of his activities, very inconspicuous. He did get caught once, and he told the person that, you know, not to divulge who he is and what he's doing, you know, because he liked to have this sort of like a miracle of situations that had occurred, that it has nothing to do with a person. It has more with the act of, you know, of charity and of giving, you know. And so he tried to keep himself away from that whole concept of, you know, I've done this, and, you know, I've
Actually, the very opposite of our Santa Claus today in some ways.
Yes, very opposite, exactly. And
well,
so,
go ahead.
So things have sort of changed. You have the Dutch with Kris Kringle coming in, again using the bishop symbolism, where, you know, he rides in a white horse, and again he gives gifts, and, you know, and presents cheer. In German areas, you have again St. Nicholas. In the European sort of whole context, in terms of Nicholas and Mikuláš, which is sort of a Hungarian word for it, is that they all celebrated on December the 5th, evening of December the 5th, or December the 6th is Nicholas Day. And the children would then take their shoes, place them either outside the door or on a windowsill, and making sure that the shoes are very nice and clean, and, you know, nothing, no muddy. In fact, if there is a little bit of mud, then usually they don't get anything, you know, at that point. It has to be very clean, respectful in that sense.
Is that sort of where the idea of a naughty list and a nice list came from?
Well, kind of, yes, because at that point in time, the child would receive either a lot of chocolates and candies and various type things, being good, or receive twigs or coal, and saying that, a switch basically is that, has been bad. And so if the child has already been told at that point in time, on December 6th, then the child has 3 weeks to make up for Christmas, because that's when the Christ child comes and gives you presents. Now, sometimes you get a small present, also in St. Nicholas Day, just a little sort of tidy over. But basically that, in that 3-week time period, is where you have to do good, really good.
Recovery time.
Recovery time, exactly.
What about Krampus?
Krampus is a little character that is with St. Nicholas, who is with him in terms of is that you have a very bad child, okay, that child will be taken away. And there's a bag, okay, which, the child will be popped into and take it.
And that's usually Santa's bag?
No, that's actually Krampus's bag. Santa doesn't carry the bag. He just carries, or not Santa, but St. Nicholas, he just walks with the staff, and usually the bag for Santa Claus really came with the American version of Santa Claus, filling the bags, the reindeer, and all of those particular things. All those came from Clement Clark Moore when he wrote his famous poem about the night before Christmas. Oh. And it is through that imagery of the poem that the new Santa Claus came and has stayed with us since then at that point in time.
Thank you so much, Santa, for being here and sharing your stories with us. And thank you for watching. I'm Esther Mills. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and good night to all.